We're tired of being sad. We're tired of being angry. We want to enjoy life again. We want to have hope for the future again. And you know what? In 2019, I think we did do a little better. Still could improve, and that's what 2020 is for.
What the hell was that?
Fuck you, 2020. Get fucked.
This year was insane. I mean, I guess it makes sense. With such an iconic sounding year like 2020, it should have been memorable, but holy crap, I was not expecting it to be this crazy. From bizarre politics to social uprisings and a pandemic, 2020 definitely made an identity for itself, for better or worse. And in terms of my life, it was actually pretty good. I mean, don't get me wrong, there were some annoying things that happened. In fact, let's just give a few screw yous to some businesses that fucked me over this year. Screw Meineke for making me replace both back brake pads even though only one of them was torn. Screw Midas and the very concept of tires in general. Screw Monroe for charging me $200 for some very minor things. Yeah, that happened after I made that vlog. Screw AM Management for boosting my rent $50 and making my rent agreement just as confusing as possible. Screw Straight Talk and AM Management for nearly ruining my birthday. Seriously, all I wanted to do was keep my old phone number on my new phone, and you guys somehow made that hard. And finally, screw YouTube's copyright system. Seriously, Warner Brothers, you're that fucking protective of New York Minute. And thanks for the copyright strike over that Ed, Edd n Eddy episode I reviewed 2 years ago. But yeah, in comparing 2020 to the last 5 years, this was easily better than most. Better than 2015, 16, 17, and 18 easily. 2019, I'm a little more iffy on. I'll say 2019 was more consistent, but 2020, the good stuff was way better, even if the bad stuff was way worse. But yeah, I had a lot of great things happen to me this year. Work wasn't as bad, I made some great videos, internet drama was greatly reduced, I got new glasses, went to the dentist for the first time since I was like 9, birthday was nice, my brother's birthday was nice, I had some fun just hanging out by myself, the weather was good, and pop music was really good. I mean, easily the best year for #1 hits since like 2010. But did I meet my 3 New Year's resolutions? Well, let's go over them one by one, and probably most obvious of all, weight loss. I lost quite a bit of weight this year. As of December 1st, I've lost 62 pounds and over 8 inches off my waist. And don't get me wrong, it was hard. It was really hard. And there were definitely some setbacks. There were times I really wanted to give up. I was basically stuck in the 240s for 3 months. And hell, I actually gained 7 pounds throughout November. But still, 62 pounds and 8.5 inches in less than a year is pretty good. So how did I do it? Well, dieting for one. I tried a lot of diets. Keto, slim fast, intermediate fasting, just eating less calories. And as for exercise, I started at the gym, but eventually they closed down, and instead of wallowing in self-pity like all the shitty memes said I would, I instead opted to do YouTube workouts. It took some trial and error, but I eventually found this really good one called Body Project. These workouts are great. They're challenging but completely doable, and they work. The hosts are fun, and they actually feel like real people, recognizing that these exercises are hard.
We know these are tough. We know these hurt.
Some of these exercises are fucking hard. But these guys are more like fun gym teachers than fitness instructors. If you guys want to lose weight, then just do some dieting and 1 or 2 of these workouts a day and you will see results within a month. Just make sure you have water, a towel, and a fan if possible, or else you will die. So thanks, Body Project. You really helped me out. And I'm mostly thanking you, Daniel, because Alex is a big meanie pants who makes you do lunges. Fuck lunges. And I guess I'll also take this time to thank Emmy Wong for some hardcore workouts on her channel to get me out of a plateau. Emmy, your workouts are some of the most excruciating things I've ever done, but they work. Also, you and your husband are goddamn adorable.
Welcome to my fitness channel.
And don't misunderstand me, guys. I'm not stopping. I'm continuing till I get below 180. Second resolution, pay off my car and at least 1 student loan. Well, I paid off the car in June. What was supposed to take me 4 years, I got done in a little over 1. And as for the student loans, well, I didn't pay off 1. I paid off 2. Granted, they were the 2 smallest ones, and I basically had to stop paying on the rest of them in order to get them done, and it only would have happened because of that stimulus check I got, but still, I only have 5 left. Who knows? I might have them all paid off by the time I'm 30. I can dream. And third, I wanted to get a new job. This unfortunately didn't happen. But it may have actually been a good thing. I sent out a few of them back in March, but unfortunately I didn't get any interviews for any of those. I did get one interview for a job I didn't apply for. They just found my resume on LinkedIn. And honestly, the job just didn't seem like something I would have been interested in. I mean, maybe I would have, but I don't know. I didn't get it anyway, so it doesn't matter. But it made me realize I don't want to just jump into a job I may hate. So I've basically been holding off. I'm probably going to start applying more after Christmas. So wish me luck on that. So yeah. Got 2 resolutions, and the one I didn't, I'm not that torn up over. And while there were bad things that happened this year, from car trouble to financial stress to a death in the family, none of them were life-ruining. There were only 3 really bad things about this year, and they were all outside of my control. So, let's talk about them. The most obvious thing, the thing 2020 will be known for, was, of course,
the coronavirus.
Coronavirus. Coronavirus.
Coronavirus.
Coronavirus.
The coronavirus.
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 So yeah, the coronavirus, or COVID-19, really was just a taint on the entire year. This stupid virus basically completely changed how we live our everyday lives. Although, honestly, it didn't really affect my life that much. Besides wearing these things fucking everywhere, the only way this really affected me was making me cancel plans. I wanted to go to Sequestria Fest, but it was canceled. Some of my old college friends were thinking of getting together during the summer. We never finalized any plans because what's the fucking point? My regular Thanksgiving plans were greatly reduced. I wanted to go out and do more things overall, and I spent most of the year inside. And of course, the movie theater was closed. I literally only saw one 2020 movie in the theater. But you know what? Fine. I'll do all that stuff next year. The thing this virus made me realize is that I am very privileged. I never was in danger of losing my job. I never was in danger of becoming homeless. And I only knew one person who got the virus, and he did recover. In fact, if I'm being honest, the pandemic may have been the best thing that happened to me. Now, that doesn't make up for the thousands of deaths, but if it didn't happen, I may not have lost as much weight. I guarantee that if I went to the gym the entire year and wasn't forced to do those YouTube workouts, I would not have lost as much weight as I did. That stimulus check I got is the only reason I was able to pay off one of those student loans. And who knows, if this didn't happen, I may have gotten a job that I ended up hating. But yeah, overall, this virus was a piece of shit and I hated it. Now, I was never afraid of the virus itself. I never was afraid of me getting sick or anyone I love getting sick. The virus didn't scare me. Everything surrounding it did. Everyone's reaction to this virus was the worst reaction you could give. From not taking it seriously or listening to the experts who tell you to wear a mask and not go to the beach for spring break, to the other extreme of overly panicking to the point of stupidity. Panicking is the worst thing you can do in a situation like this. It can make you do really dumb things, from just plain old stupid, like hoarding toilet paper and hand sanitizer, to the cartoonishly evil, like committing hate crimes against Asian Americans. I hate the way the media talked about this. It was always the bad news. I rarely saw recoveries. You don't have to scare people so much that they start hating each other. No one was trusting each other. I really was hoping that the virus would be the one thing to bring everyone together. Nope, instead it drove us even further apart. So yeah, despite the shutdown leading to some very good things for me, and hopefully we take some good lessons from it, the pandemic can fucking blow me. And as soon as it's over, and it will end despite what some people say, I'm doing stuff. Seriously, thank you to all of the healthcare workers out there. And a special thank you to Dr. Rachel Levine, PA's health secretary, whose guidelines not only helped keep the virus under control, for a while at least, but did it all while dealing with some of the most bigoted backlash I've ever seen. The second worst thing about this year was, of course, the United States election. Hey, remember this? Can we please move on from this don't vote for these people because evil, and instead move on to vote for these people because reason. That way we don't end up with this shit again. Well, you all learned nothing. Look, I'm gonna talk politics, and some of you might get pissed off, so if you don't want to hear about it, go here. Okay, we'll start with the Republicans. Donald Trump is a fucking idiot who believes in nothing except that he is awesome. He has managed to take the Republican Party so far off the rails that it no longer resembles the party I was raised to believe in. My dad always taught me that the Republicans were for lower taxes, less government, and that the government's main job is to protect American citizens. Well, you managed to lower taxes, Donnie, and by that I mean Republicans in Congress like Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell managed to lower taxes, meaning we could have gotten those with literally any other Republican president, and hell, they probably would have gotten done faster. But you sure as shit don't follow the other two rules. With how many executive orders you signed, it's clear you don't give a damn about keeping the government as small as possible. You banned Muslims, prohibited transgender people from serving in the military, tried to ban abortion rights, and called yourself the law and order president, militarizing the police even more than they already were. And that brings us to the third point. You don't give a fuck about protecting us, especially those who disagree with you. You tear-gassed your own citizens. That happened. All because you wanted a photo op and they were practicing their First Amendment right to protest after the murder of George Floyd. Oh, and just a side note, fuck the police system. Mr. President, you suck. I said 4 years ago that we would survive your presidency, and to an extent we did. The country's still in one piece, but a lot of people died because you are so bad that you rile up white nationalist terrorists who go on to drive cars into protesters and shoot up a fucking Walmart. You deny climate change, that it's leading to more severe hurricanes and wildfires, and downplay the worst pandemic in a century, get rid of the pandemic task force that would have helped a lot, and then when you finally can't ignore it, just say, it is what it is. Even after you yourself got the virus, you still acted like it wasn't that big a deal. A president is supposed to make us feel safe, or at least try. Not ignoring that bad things happen, but make us believe we're gonna get through them. And you couldn't even do that. I did believe that things will get better, but in spite of you, not because of you. So goodbye, Mr. President. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. And now for the other side. Joe Biden is a fucking grifter who believes in nothing except that he is awesome. I can't believe that the Democrats started out with the most diverse group of candidates in American history, and you end up picking this guy. I mean, okay, he's not the worst candidate, he's not Bloomberg, but Biden was not the best choice in any way. Let's just ignore the creepy shit for a second. This guy is boring. Does he actually believe in anything? And even if he did, he's clearly not all mentally there. And you chose him to have the most stressful job in the world? Now back to the creepy shit. Let's say Tara Reid was lying about the assault, something that just a year ago would have gotten me crucified. The problem is that it seemed like that was something Biden would do, given that we have a lot of evidence of him touching people, sniffing people, and just making them uncomfortable. I hate the Democratic Party. Honestly, I'm tired of being morally judged by people who clearly don't believe in what they claim to believe. I mean, it's clear they don't give a shit about people's mental health. These people are suicide enablers. But for some reason, they hold celebrities with no political power to a higher standard than politicians running for the most powerful position in the country. And don't think I forgot the shenanigans that happened during the primary. Remember the shit show that was the Iowa caucus, which somehow ended up with Pete fucking Buttigieg, the personification of white toast, getting the most delegates? Or how about when Pete and Amy Klobuchar dropped out just before Super Tuesday, endorsing Biden and allowing him to get the nomination despite losing the first 3 primaries? Sure, it could be that those 2 milquetoast moderates just felt like there was no point and they would never win, or maybe the DNC were scared that the 3 of them could divide more centrist and moderate voters, allowing Bernie Sanders to win. And we can't have someone with actual ideas and a backbone wanting to make change like Sanders, Warren, or Yang to win, so let's just have these 2 drop out so all the moderates can put their support behind Biden. So we basically got the 2016 election part 2. But hey, at least this time Trump lost, so I guess it was all worth it. Alright, I don't hate Biden. I think he's a much more likable person than Hillary, and not every decision he made was the dumbest thing ever. And I hope he makes real positive change. Honestly, I hate what these 2 represent more than the men themselves. With Trump, I see the assholeness taking over political discourse, and with Biden, I see the last gasps of neoliberalism trying to hold on. And yes, I do believe this type of politics is coming to an end. Remember guys, in 2024, the youngest boomer will be 60 years old. And we younger people just aren't buying it anymore. And before we move on, can I just say, can we stop treating our politicians like celebrities? I was at a flea market and saw a guy selling exclusively Trump shit. But it's not just him. I see the left doing this too with people like Sanders and AOC. This kind of weird culty mentality around them. Like they can tweet something and people are jerking off to it like it's the most profound thing ever. So yeah, the election and virus were pretty bad. But the third worst thing about 2020, I think actually made those 2 worse. And that's where you come in. Ah, so you finally remember me. Oh, I could never forget you. So let me guess. Internet drama? No, that was actually greatly reduced this year. I'm talking about something that's not quite as bad, but even more annoying. And what's that? Doomers. What are doomers? I'm glad you asked. A doomer is a person, usually in the Gen Z generation, or Zoomers as I guess they're called, because I refuse to call them Zillennials. But yes, they're mostly in Gen Z, but they can be of any age, and essentially, they're just pessimists. They believe that the world is just too far gone, and eventually the effects of late-stage capitalism, climate change, and corrupt politics will cause the collapse of civilization. If you want to know more, I suggest this video by Sarah Z, one of the few watchable Lindsay Ellis wannabes. So they're essentially Frank Walker? I wish! Frank at least had the courtesy to stay locked in his house and not bother anyone. These people not only try and be funny, which they're not, we'll get to that, but they actively try and find every article and book that says we're all doomed and post them to social media to make everyone else feel bad. These people are the fucking worst, and in my opinion are just as bad as climate change deniers and anti-maskers. And they were all over this year. And I'm not saying every doomer is created equal. If you genuinely had an awful year, you lost your job, someone you love died, or you just genuinely had a lot of bad shit happen to you, I understand. Or hell, even if you thought the pandemic was the worst thing to happen and it killed 2020 for you, I think you're privileged as fuck, but I get it. But there's a very specific kind of doomer that I hate with a bloodthirsty passion, and that is the headline doomer. These people will take every bad news headline and blow them up to apocalyptic proportions. Remember when we were supposed to go to war with Iran? Twice, every 18 to 30-year-old guy posted memes like me and the boys getting ready for boot camp after being drafted. It's World War III. Guys, there hasn't been a draft in almost 50 years. You'll be fine. And guess what? That war with Iran never happened, much less World War III. Remember the murder hornets? Look, the fact that these things exist at all is proof that Satan is real. But they're not that deadly to humans. In Asia, where there's a lot more of them and they've existed for thousands of years, they kill about 50 people a year. The reason they're called the murder hornets is because they kill honeybees, which is bad, and that's why we're trying to get rid of them, but they're not going to lead to the extinction of humans. Holy shit, locusts in Africa, that was literally one of the plagues of Egypt. It's the apocalypse. No, it's just climate change, you idiots. Maybe we should do something about it. But no, because doomers don't do anything, they just like to complain. Oh my god, another swine flu, just what we needed. It was contained in China very easily. Holy shit, the bubonic plague is back. It never left. World Health Organization says that around 1,000 to 2,000 people get the bubonic plague a year, and it can usually be treated with antibiotics. The only reason you're hearing about it this year is because everyone is already on edge because of the coronavirus, and the media can get more clicks. Every fucking day I had to listen to this shit, which is not great for my anxiety. And if it were just a bunch of teenagers on Reddit, I'd forgive it. We all went through that phase where we're just going into adolescence and realize the world isn't perfect, so we realize everything must suck. But this wasn't just coming from teenagers or Reddit. They were on Facebook. I had to unfriend old high school and college classmates because their pessimism was ruining my mental health. I'm looking at you, Nathan and Melody. They were on Twitter. I swear to God, every single one of my mutuals hosted some kind of doomer meme. Thanks, guys. They were on YouTube, the place I'm supposed to go to forget all my problems, and most of the people I was subscribed to were losing their fucking minds. Cody, are you okay? Do you need a hug? But yeah, watching a video by someone you like and having to hear shit like this.
2020 really is the worst year ever.
And this.
2020 so far hasn't exactly been sunshine and rainbows.
And this.
2020 sucks so bad!
And this.
It almost makes 2020 look good. Okay, that might be going a bit far.
And this.
This is 2020.
Is not ideal. And the thing is, I couldn't even go offline to avoid it because, believe it or not, my coworkers are the biggest doomers of all. Tyler, if you're watching this, you're a great producer and a decent dude, but just saying we're all gonna die every day is not a joke. Comedy was being killed this year. I heard the same jokes over and over. Someone sneezes. Oh, you got big Rona. I heard that about 50 times, and I'm barely exaggerating. I saw this stupid gremlin meme at the end of every month since April. My bosses made 2020 sucks jokes. So that's why I say that doomer humor and boomer humor are the same thing. I heard so many of them, but eventually I couldn't become angry anymore. I just became numb. When John Oliver blew up 2020 at the end of his last show of the year, I just went, eh. But at least he ended that with some hope for the future.
What happens next is up to all of us. It's going to depend on how willing we are to fight, how well we learn from what's happened, and how much we are able to care about each other.
Look, I get it. Life is hard, and with how much information we have access to thanks to social media, it's easy to believe we're living in the end times. And this year was especially hard between the pandemic, the election, and so many celebrities we love dying. It feels easy to just give up. But it's not that bad. Or at the very least, it's not that bad all the time. So, yeah, I guess to sum up 2020, world sucked, but my life was fine. And those three things really did suck. So, to the COVID-19 pandemic, I give my most sincere fuck you. And to the person who started this, whether it be some dipshit selling bats in Wuhan or the Illuminati, I hope you're dead. To the United States election and the shit politicians who don't actually believe in anything, I give my most sincere fuck you. And Joe, don't fuck this up. And to the doomers, the people who tried to make me hate every second of living through 2020, I say, I hope you have a great 2021. So, why did you need me here? I didn't really. It just would have felt weird not having you here. That's fair. So, now that I've let out all my frustrations over the things causing me stress this year, does that mean Alien Origin will stop chasing me? No, he will, because those three weren't the problem. Of course they won't. And you still won't tell me? Nope. And you're not going to tell me what those words meant at the end of my Halloween videos? Nope. Fine. I want you guys to list in the comments the good things that happened to you this year. Any happy memories you have. And if you don't have anything personal from your own life, try and think of some stuff that happened worldwide. The earth got a little healthier. We eradicated polio in Africa. Sent several Americans to space. Learned we can do a lot of jobs from home. There were peace deals in the Middle East. Recreational marijuana was legalized in several US states. Congress is getting more diverse. This guy lost. He will not be president at this point next month. And we created effective vaccines to the worst virus in a century in less than a year. Science is getting better all the time. And you know what? Say what you will about 2020, but no year that gave us Ben Shapiro singing WAP is the worst year ever.
Whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house.
See you tomorrow, guys. Bye.
7 days a week. Wet ass P word. Make that pull-out game weak. Yeah. You effing with some wet ass P word.